Alright, so today I'm giving you another review video, and a much more unfiltered one at that. If you're wondering, reviews aren't going to be a new thing on the channel. I uploaded the book review because it's actually a well-edited video, and this one is basically, I genuinely think this is one of the greatest pieces of fiction I've ever seen, and I want to talk about it. Really underground and obscure anime called Evangelion. This will be a review of the main series and subsequent alternate ending film, End of Evangelion. So let's start with the OG. I have a strange history with this series because it kept popping up in my life in random ways to me before I watched it. Like, not only did I watch the first episode years ago and thought, I should watch more of this, and never did. True story, by the way. But just in general, I pretty much knew every character's name without knowing the plot. I loved the opening theme. It was on my Spotify playlist for a while. There's a ton of memes from the parts of the show. I was made aware of that scene a million times. There are also a weird number of sound effects in the show that I recognize from Gmod, but you get the point. Now let's get into the actual series. I'll try to avoid spoilers, but yeah, if you don't know the plot, it's set in a world where humanity is severely at risk of angels coming down and fucking our shit up. But we got an alternative. Giant mech robots called Avas that also fuck shit up. So cut to the chase, there's this severely traumatized boy named Shinji who is recruited to be an Ava pilot because they've proven that 14-year-olds are the most suitable pilots for these things. He refuses at first but does out of sympathy for another Ava pilot named Rei, and that pretty much sets up everything else. Cool Gundam anime, right? Okay, let me explain. If you go into Evangelion expecting this awesome Gundam action anime with explosions and robots beating the shit out of each other, man, you are in for a rough ride. Going back to what I was saying about how I watched the first episode and never watched more for no reason, fuck, maybe that was a good thing. I don't know if back then I would even understand all the shit that goes down in this show, let alone handle the extremely mature subject matter. You'll still get your cool Gundam action, don't get me wrong, but this is a story about trauma and mental illness. After episode 15, it especially begins to emphasize those themes specifically. Also, the show specifically grows increasingly more abstract and artsy with its direction, and by the last two episodes, it goes completely off the wall. And that's a good thing, sort of. I liked these weird-ass dream sequences, some of them. Going off of the theme of trauma, I absolutely adore what the show did with its characters and character development. A common criticism I've seen of the series is that the characters are unlikable. To whoever thinks that, please, I don't know, open up your mind, both mentally and physically. That's the point. That's the point. These characters are supposed to be lackluster and shitty people, and you learn that if you watch the series beyond the first 10 episodes. These characters have been fucked over in the past, and so they've developed these terrible personalities to cope with it. I will never forget when they introduced Asuka to the series. Let me tell you, I fucking hated this bitch. She's just really rude to everyone and thinks she's better than Rei and Shinji, but ultimately sucks. I just hated her so much, man. But I continue watching. Over time, I hated her less because the more you learn about her character, the more you understand why she is such a prick to everyone else. Keeping with that, the same thing happened to me with Misato. While I didn't hate Misato nearly as much as Asuka, I still didn't necessarily like her in the first half of the show because she's a slob and very sexually promiscuous and confused. But of course, you slowly learn what made her the way she is. And I can't talk about this dilemma without mentioning the protagonist, Shinji, easily the biggest example of this. I hate characters whose whole shtick is being weak. Like Kobeni from Chainsaw Man. Dude, I don't get what everyone else sees in her other than her looks. I can't stand how, she's just a weeping mess in every fucking scene she's in. But going back to Shinji, he's a very, very weak-spirited person. He lets people push him around all the time. He's always apologizing. He's a coward, and his self-hatred makes him hurt others in the process. Shinji is such a sad, depressing character. I feel sorry for this guy, genuinely. While I wouldn't say Rei doesn't completely fit this criteria, she definitely does. She has a much different character arc throughout the show for reasons you'll have to watch the show for yourself to find out. But, yeah, the character development is amazing here. on the site where I watched the series, there's a comment section, and I vividly remember a comment that went like this. Why is this cast so weird? Rei has less emotions than a robot. Shinji's just some useless boy, and Asuka's a bitch. I want to see... Dude, I want to see this fucking guy's reaction to the rest of the series. Now, fast forward to the ending of the show. I won't give it away, of course, but the ending was certainly strange. It's not in line with the tone of the show up until this point, but still, I was like, okay, that's cool. You know what? That was okay. Like, that was a solid ending. I don't know how else they could do. And then I watched an end of Evangelion. Okay, listen, after watching that film, fuck this ending, bro. My honest opinion, watch the original show up until episode 24, then just watch End of Evangelion. This ending is a million times better than the show ending. It's in line with the tone and is just so much more grand and climactic. Absolute cinema. Also, my god, is it brutal. Evangelion isn't lenient on violence, but End of Evangelion just goes crazy. But while we're on this section, I'd like to give a special mention to the fucking website I watched it on. Kaido.to. T-O. Hey, cocksuckers who designed this website, I hope you get raped and killed. The movie was so fucking laggy the whole way through, and everywhere you click on this website, it sends you to fucking Lust Goddess. I think I might have to watch this shit in the future because the website experience sucked. On the topic of bad things, however, I'm gonna go over some stuff I actually didn't like about this series. I watched this video criticizing it, and while this guy was overall retarded, I agreed with him on a major point where he said, things aren't explained well. Oh, 100%, dude. I searched a lot of things up to get a better idea of unexplained plot points. Like, Rei's entire character is not really, easy to understand without further research. Of course, I'm not a fan of the original ending. Thank God we have End of Eva to perfect that. And lastly, there's a ton of freaky shit that just doesn't need to be in the series. You might think I'm actually referencing the hospital scene here, but no, I'm not talking about that. Just in general, like, really small stuff that happens, like, here, did they really need to make Shinji accidentally look up Rei's skirt? But overall, this is fucking great, man. 12 out of 10, you should watch it. But it's definitely not for everyone. It's very personal, but still watch it. Soundtrack's awesome too. Before I go, I have an announcement to make. I am employed now. I am no longer unemployed, and that might fuck with my upload schedule. I'm just saying this to warn you guys if it does happen, because it probably will. But even if it does, you don't gotta worry about me straight up leaving YouTube, because I love doing this. Anyways, yeah, good talk.